Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something sick.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
People who do knitting and crochet inevitably end up with multiple ends of balls of yarn. They don't quite finish the ball of yarn.
Right.
And it's too much to throw out, because that's wasteful, but it's never quite enough to complete a new project,
Uh-huh.
And all knitters and crocheters have this problem, and we all have drawers or baskets or boxes or something where all the yarn end yarn balls get thrown in.
Mm-hmm.
There's this unknown force of the universe which says that wound up balls of yarn, if left alone in a container, will unwind by themselves and tangle with every other ball in them. So every so often you go through your balls of yarn and you rewind them and have a look at them and think what you could do with them and put them back in the basket and never do anything. And I was doing that the other day. I was going through my extra ball yarn stash and untangling all the yarn that had managed to tangle itself up and rolling back up balls. And I thought to myself, this is kind of where I'm at with IFS. I've got lots of unfinished balls of yarn that have all got, they're a bit tangled up, and I'm not quite sure how to sort them out or which one to use and try and so that was my analogy. That's the best I could come up with.
Yeah, maybe it's a similar process.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah.
And when you're sorting out the yarn, you get all enthusiastic and you think, I'll sort through all that yarn and, there'll be something that pops out and I'll have an inspiration and I'll do something. But it never quite works out like that, You sort through all the yarn and it's all, and at the end of it, you just go, oh, well, that's done. And you put it away again.
Yeah.
And it's kind of how.
Yeah, maybe they like being tangled up a little.
Yes. Yeah. It's they kind of seek each other out a little bit, I think. They're very sneaky. They do it when you're not looking, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we can have a look, see what comes up.
Yeah. See what coloured yarn shows up.
Mm-hmm. Ready to start?
Yeah. Can we do our meditation?
Mm-hmm. How many minutes?
Give me one to start with, and I'll see
Okay.
where that takes us.
That was one.
Wow. Goes quick, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
So many options.
Yeah. So many options, and yeah. I mean, to be honest, the thing that comes up the most whenever I'm in this kind of space and I sit with it, the thing that usually comes up is just sort of general sort of sadness. Because the options thing is part of it, but also the sort of flip side of that, which is kind of like regret. You know, all the unfinished bits is. I think too that it's something to do with age. I think things. You know, like it's very different being 30 or 40 or even 50 and being, you know, the age I am now. Because, you know, you start seeing the finish line at my age, you know, like it becomes more real. And it's not a gloomy thing. It's just a reality. Like, even if I lived as long as my mum has lived, it's still much less than the time I've already lived.
Yeah.
And I just think it's when you're younger, all the options are, you know, they're all exciting and they're all there. Now it's a little bit more serious. It's like you've got to choose well because you know, you haven't got time to waste frivolously.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of that going on.
Okay.
And there's also just kind of connected to that, but not entirely. But a little bit of connection to that is this sort of just feeling a bit sad. And yeah, it is to do with choices and making a good one, given that there's not much time, and wanting it to be something that matters and is important and useful and
Yeah.
And that's about as far as I get, really.
Okay.
I don't know how that hits a younger person's ears. How does that hit? Does that... I'm trying to remember back to if I had heard somebody saying that to me when I was in my, 30s and 40s. I wonder how I would have heard it.
I wasn't feeling like a younger person when you were saying it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So do you think that's a function of self that lets you do that?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, seeing parts in you and seeing those same parts in me, that's kind of what I'm trying to do when I'm trying to understand. It's kind of a shortcut for understanding people is just thinking about, oh, I have parts like that, I have parts like that, and then I can kind of think about
Yeah.
how I've interacted with them, and yeah, I've got parts that
Yeah.
say all those things regardless of the calendar.
Really? Yeah, okay. I don't think I would have at your age. I think I think I would have heard the words and understood the words, but I don't think I would have. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying I feel what you're feeling precisely or that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would not. But I didn't. Back in my 30s and 40s, I didn't have the concept of self either. So you know what I mean? It's yeah. So I'm not sure where to go.
Okay. Well, I'd like to welcome all those parts. Just let them know that they're welcome. If there's more that they want to share, if they want to be known, if they don't want to be known, that's all fine with me.
Yeah. See, I'd forgotten that they were parts. Of course they are. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And if it's helpful, we can try to, tease them out like we would the yarn and figure out who's who.
Yeah, I think that would be really interesting because I mean, have they been there all the time and just waiting till I get to, the right age to sort of start? Or are they, no, who are these parts? What are they about?
Yeah, what are they about? How long have they been doing what they've been doing?
Yeah. These parts that are really, there's probably a whole bunch of them that are really aware of age and of, of life, and that life ends as well as,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk to them.
Okay. Do you already see a separation of specific ones? You talked about sadness, you talked about options and choosing well and regret.
Yeah.
You talked about choices that matter and that are important.
Yeah. I think the sadness one is less connected. I don't think it's directly connected to the age thing. I think it's just a part that's been there forever sort of a standalone part. It's not particularly related to the others, but yeah, all that little group. I don't see them as such, but I certainly when you mentioned them, I felt each of them. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's a great place to start, is how you feel them.
Yeah. Say some of them again and I'll see where they pop up.
Okay. Sadness, options, more serious, choosing well, wanting choices to matter, be important, regret, unfinished bits.
Yeah. I think regrets had the strongest pull.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's that pull like, and how do you notice it?
I don't really feel it in my body as such, but I do feel it as a it's attention. It's grabbing my attention. It's attracting my notice. How else would I describe it?
Yeah, what kind of energy does it have?
Yeah. It's insistent. Yeah. What is it? It's hard to describe. It's not scary and it's not overwhelming, and it's not it's not a bad energy in any way. But it is what is the word? It's valuable. That's what it feels like. It knows stuff. It's got information. It's use. It's quite wise. It's got some wisdom about it and some insight. Like it doesn't feel like regret of beating my you need to beat yourself up because you didn't do it or because you didn't choose things. It's more like a feeling of just regret that life didn't work out like that way, and that's okay. That's what happens. I don't know, James. It's very it's quite a gentle sort of feeling.
Okay. How do you feel towards it?
I'm very curious about it. It knows some stuff.
Just let it know that you're curious. Ask it to notice you.
Yeah.
And you could ask it what it needs for you to understand.
Yeah, what do I need to understand? I think it feels like it's telling me I'm calling it the wrong thing. that regret isn't quite what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about it's more about sort of I'll just say the words that are coming up. I don't really understand them and they sound a bit odd, but the words that are coming up are, it's more about summarizing and evaluating and assessing and
Mm-hmm.
rather than, it feels like the regret is too negative for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Reflecting, maybe that's a good word, reflecting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. I need to understand that it wants to reflect with me.
You up for that?
Yeah. Good Lord, where is it going to start?
One thing that came up was something like life didn't work out that way.
Yeah. Well, life didn't work out in a million different ways. It worked out in just one way,
Right.
the way that it the way that it did. And I can never know any of those other ways. All I can know is the way that it did work out.
How's this part feel about that?
Okay, the regret's coming back in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now we've got the choices one hopping back in again saying, you've still got choices to make.
Right. Yeah. And that's separate from the evaluating or the regret parts.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a bit of a tension between them, actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The evaluating one is,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, the evaluating one is saying, how can you make good choices if you haven't done the evaluation of what's already happened?
Right.
Evaluating what's happened will help you make a good choice. And the choices one is saying, we need to make choices now because there's not a lot of time left.
Right.
This evaluating stuff is all well and good, but, make a choice. Do it now.
Yeah. How do you feel towards the make choices now part?
It agitates me a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel more relaxed with the evaluating part.
Yeah.
But the make choices now part is making a good argument. It's presenting a good case.
Yeah. Would it be useful to ask one of these parts for space so that you could just learn about them one at a time?
Yeah, I'm just not sure which one. I think I have to. I think I have to talk to the choices part. I don't think that it will. I don't think it'll step back and let me just
Okay.
Evaluate and be nostalgic.
And we'll try to come back to that reflecting part.
Yeah, the reflecting part. It won't let that happen. It wants to. Yeah,
I'll make a note of that to remind us to come back.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Yes, the reflecting part is a little uncertain about that, but was good to hear that we'll make that commitment.
I can set a timer.
Say that again. You can do what?
I can set a timer.
To come back to the...
To say we'll come back to the... We'll pause in 15 minutes and check back in with the reflecting part.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I've never done that before. Let's say 15.
Okay.
That's a very cool idea. Okay. So we're at the park bench, by the way. And
great.
Yeah. And the reflecting part, now that it knows we're coming back in 15 minutes, has seen a little kid that seems to be lost. So it's going off to see if it can find where it belongs. Which is odd.
I don't know. I think that all these parts tend to have a little kid who's lost that they're looking out for.
Yes. Yes.
But we'll find out later.
Yeah. We'll come back and see what happened. Cool.
So still have to make choices now part.
Yes.
Yeah. Still feeling agitated towards it?
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get that agitated part to step back?
Yeah, let me see. Oh, it's quite hard. The choices thing is telling me that the agitation is part of the process. The agitation is what helps make the choice. If I'm not agitated, then...
yeah, the choices part does its own agitating of you.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
But are you also feeling agitated towards it?
I don't, maybe not. I think maybe it's just agitating me. It's kind of like the coach giving the team a rack up at half time,
Yeah.
Come on, we got to get out there, we got to make this happen. I think that's what's happening. Yeah. I don't
feeling
think
curious about it?
So I've still got the agitated one, and the make a choice one is the same thing. Am I?
So welcome on the park bench.
Yeah. The make a choice part is agitating me so that I will make a choice, because the agitation will settle down once I've made a choice.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I don't see them as separate things. They're one and the same.
Yeah.
The choice and the agitation kind of go together. And I'm not being overwhelmed by the agitation. It's just, this is how
this
it
part
behaves.
works. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So let it know that you get all that. You see that?
Yep. It's giving me some energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's giving me some energy.
That's right. It gives you energy.
Yeah. And it just did a little fist pump. It's like, yes.
All right. Yeah. What else does it need for you to understand about it?
Yeah. So it needs me to understand that choices aren't always life and death, you know, that sometimes choices aren't necessarily between completely wrong and completely right. Like, sometimes there are many equal choices and they're all good, you know, or they all have, and that
and that we don't need to reflect so much to just pick a choice and do it.
Yeah. Picking one will be fine. It will be fine. And that it doesn't need to be, you know, a commitment forever. You can say, well, that didn't quite work out. Maybe I'll come back and try the yellow yarn. The red one didn't quite work out. So it's telling me that choices aren't as big a deal as I'm trying to make them. Like,
you can let it know that you see how other parts feel like choices are a really big deal.
Right. Choices are a really big, yeah. Yeah, that's huge.
But that you understand what it's saying about.
I can see both points. I can see both. I can see that sometimes choices are a really fucking big deal. That in some ways you can't turn back on them. So
what's this part worried about? If you did more of that reflecting, or if you weren't agitated, if it didn't work so hard?
That I would just be so hang on a minute, what am I asking? So I'm asking the part that racks me up a bit. What it's worried about would happen if it
didn't work so hard, if it didn't agitate you.
Yeah, that I would that I would be that I'd do nothing, that it would be stalemate, and that I would just be you know, the bit of time that I've got left, I'd be freaking wasting it, for heaven's sakes, you know. You know that there's not much left, and that's fine. There's nobody's complaining about that. But the fact of it is that there isn't much. It's just the fact. So it would be. It's worried that I would waste that time. Yeah.
And just so I understand, what would be so bad about wasting that time?
Well, I don't know. That the part is finding that hard to explain, because it's such a fundamental truth. You know, that wasting your time and your energy and your talents and your is just wrong. Like, it's just wrong. Like, it doesn't really understand why that even needs explaining.
And I'm not arguing. I just am curious about the feelings that come up in it.
Yeah.
When we think about what it means to waste time, what that looks like, and who's...
It's kind of irresponsible to waste time. It's kind of irresponsible. It's kind of and it's wasteful, and it's and it's pointless. You know, there's what's the point of not choosing and it's wasteful and irresponsible not to use your time well.
And where does that come from? Where does that feeling of it being irresponsible come from?
I guess from my family. I guess from my, that's how.
Are there parts in you that are pointing to that are saying, look, it's from this. It's from this time or this memory.
It's not linked to a specific time or a specific memory.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's like
a
water.
Value.
Yeah. It's kind of like what water is to a fish. It's just
Mm-hmm.
all around you. It's there. It's how things work. Yeah, it's a value. I guess it's a value. Yeah, very, very,
Mm-hmm.
very strong value.
Yeah. And how do you feel about us just exploring this the way we're doing now?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Because I'm
I've
still
always
very curious about this and about what it means to be irresponsible in that way, wasting time, and what it means to you, what it means to parts in you.
Yeah.
If you think about time that you may have wasted, what comes up emotionally, what comes up with parts around that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of unthinkable, really.
Mm-hmm.
This is very extreme, and I don't know that I understand it fully, but the extreme sort of version of it is you might as well be dead if you're not if you're just wasting your time and your energy, and well, you might as well be dead then.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very extreme.
Sounds, extreme.
If you pushed the questioning of that value
Mm-hmm.
to the end point,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you end up. If you question this value of, you need to be contributing and making a choice and to do something, do something that has meaning and is worthwhile. If you question that value to the end point is you might as well be dead. And it's not saying to me that I should be dead. It's just saying that's the polarization of that value. That's the other end. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think more often than not, that is the end when you push a question like this for any parts that have an extreme belief, burden, opinion. It's somewhere it comes down to kind of life or death. Yeah.
And I've got a part that is really getting antsy about saying that this is an extreme belief.
Yeah, somewhere in there, something felt extreme. And I don't mean to frame it that way, that the belief is extreme. I just, if there is a feeling of it's death if I'm wasting time, that sounds, well, you said like it sounded extreme.
It is, yeah. It felt extreme, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's the nature of beliefs, of values.
Sure.
Maybe that's how they work.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a reasonable hypothesis.
Yeah.
I think it might be tied in many cases to the idea that if our values don't match our families and our cultural values, then that can be a death sentence.
Yes, yes, yes. Because that might mean that you are outside of your,
Right.
um,
Right.
your social supports or something. Yeah.
Right. If you're wasting time and the rest of the crew isn't, then you get kicked out of the wagon there.
Yeah. And it's not just that you're wasting time, but that you don't actually agree fundamentally with the value. Like I think the crew would say, oh God, they're wasting time again. Okay, let's do what we need to do. But if you're actually saying, I reject your value, the value that you say, then then they say, okay, well, then you're gone. If you
So
reject
it's
the
kind
value.
of part of your identity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's yeah.
Okay. How do you feel towards these parts that are sharing all this with you?
Yeah. They're really interesting. I really like them.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. This is cool stuff. I like.
It's been 15 minutes.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we were going to check back in with. Oh, the reflecting part. Yes.
If that feels all right for you.
Yes. She's returned with a small child in tow.
Okay. Is there anything more to... How do you want to do this? Do you want to switch gears and meet with that part now, or?
No, I don't know. This all feels very...
See how the make choices part, if it has a vote here.
Yeah, the making choices part is saying, or letting me know that it will give me some time with the reflecting part, but that it's not, but that it's not going away, and that I still need to come back and make the choice.
All right.
Yeah. I think the reason it did that, it gave permission for me to do that, is because the reflecting part has come back with this small child. And the choices part seems to think that that's significant somehow.
I can make a note to come back to the choices part.
Yes, let's do that. The choices part has gone to check out the climbing tree.
Great.
See if it's still young enough to climb up or not. Might not be able to, but anyway, that's up to it. It'll figure that out.
Okay.
It can make a choice.
Okay. That's right.
Okay.
Reflecting part.
Yeah. Hello. Wants me to look at the child.
What's the child like?
Shy. It's sitting on reflecting part's knee and kind of snuggled in and looking at me with just one eye, its head's pressed into reflecting part's chest and is looking at me shyly with one eye.
Yeah, how do you feel towards the child?
Oh gosh, she's beyond cute.
Uh-huh.
I want her to feel okay with me.
Yeah.
I want to gain her confidence.
Yeah.
Did you know, by the way, this is just a sidetrack thing. Did you know, you probably do know this because you work with kids, and I can't remember when I figured it out, but if you look at particularly a very little kid and you open your mouth really, really wide, like you go, like you're having a nice surprise, you will virtually always get a smile in response. Like just a smile is nice, but if you open your mouth really wide and just go like that, it's almost like the kids can't help but respond to that. You've got to make it a happy. You've got to make it a happy thing, not a scared thing.
Okay.
And I loved using it like on buses and stuff, or in places where the parent of the child or the caregiver of the child their attention was elsewhere.
Yeah, me too.
And you could have this whole conversation with this kid just going, and it would look at you and grin, and you'd have this whole little conversation, and then the parent would look around and you'd, be a serious adult again. Anyway,
so you're providing your friendliest, welcoming face.
Yes, yeah. But the main thing is your mouth has to be very wide open. It's quite odd. So I'm trying that with this little one, and she's giggling and burying her face because it always works like that. You always get a giggle when you do that. And now reflecting is saying, she's going to stay sitting on my knee. She's not coming over to your knee.
Okay. You okay with that?
Yeah.
What the reflecting part like for you to know about it or to understand about it or the child?
Or the child, yeah. It wants me to understand how protective it is of this child and of the value that it places on its safety.
And it does that. Yeah.
For just the briefest moment there, the child turned into a teenager and then back to a child again. It was very odd.
Somehow the reflecting helps keep these children safe?
Yes. Reflecting helps keep the children safe.
Summarizing, evaluating, assessing?
Yeah, I'm trying to work out the relationship there.
Yeah, just ask it.
Yeah. Its job is to keep the children safe. The reflecting is, and we've turned into multiple children now. Yeah, the child can become, there's not multiple children, but the child can become any age, depending on what you're thinking about or what. Yeah.
She's still just as cute.
Yeah. Oh, let me see. No, not quite as cute as the little one. Not quite as cute.
Okay.
So
I was
the
kind of
reflecting,
wondering if you're still feeling open and sweet to her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. But she's lost that little tiny kid cuteness, She's a bit more prickly. Teenagers grow prickles.
Yeah.
So I'm just I'm trying to work out what's going on here, and I'm not at all sure. The reflecting part job is to protect these kids, whichever one is showing up. That's as much as I know.
Yeah, just ask it how it does that, how its role does that.
Yeah. I'm not getting a clear read on that. So this.
What's it worried would happen if it didn't?
Yeah. If this reflecting part didn't protect these kids, they would be, gosh, everything's so extreme today. They would be excoriated. They would have,
they would be exiled.
Yeah, they would have the flesh ripped off their bones. I'm sorry, this is really awful stuff. This is.
You okay with the part showing you that?
Yeah, it's very extreme though. The reflecting part stops that from happening. And I'm not sure.
Does making choices now threaten the reflecting part's job?
It's worried that it might. It doesn't know for sure, but it's worried that it might expose these kids. Yeah. It's telling me that I have to take these kids into account when I'm making my choices. Does that make sense?
It makes so much sense.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry, it sounds like every protector and exile ever.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
What does it need from you to trust you to do that?
What does it need? It needs me not to be impulsive. It needs me to do some evaluation. It needs me to be thoughtful, even if it might take some time, which, it agrees is running out. It's not going to argue with that. It still thinks it's worth spending some time in order to make sure these kids are safe.
How's that sound to you?
Sounds very reasonable to me.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be some sort of time limit on it, though. You could go on reflecting forever and never getting around to making the choice, and the kids would be safe, but you've also not made a choice. So there needs to be some sort of balance here.
Well, how's it respond hearing you say that?
Yeah, it's kind of going, yeah, okay, but my job is the reflecting part, don't tell me about someone else's job.
Right.
Don't tell me about the job of make a choice over there, climbing the tree.
Right.
That's her choice. That's her job. My job is to make sure you understand my bit of it. And I'm going, yeah, that's what I needed to do. That's what I needed from you. I needed to understand your bit, and I needed to understand the other bit. The choice, make a choice part. That's, I needed both. And so I'm thanking it for help giving me, showing me what its job is.
Would it be useful, and you can check this out with the part, for you to understand the children also?
Say that again, James. Would it be useful? What?
Ask the reflecting part if it would also be useful for you to understand those children better.
Oh, okay. She's a bit antsy about that.
What's its concern?
That they'll be hurt and damaged.
They've been hurt and damaged in the past when it's relieved.
No, they'd be hurt and damaged just by me trying to get to know them. They're very
Well, I was asking, has that happened before to this part, when it's taken its it's taken its eyes off, or it's let other parts
get its
from the
guard
show,
down.
and then
It's looking at me and going, yeah. That's why I'm here.
Right.
That's why, because if I'm not here, then they get hurt. And that's happened. So
just really invite it to notice you. Let it know that you're not those other parts.
Right. I'm reminding it that I know how to get kids to giggle.
And that also you do contain those other parts, and that you can see them over there on the tree, that you're able to identify them and ask them for space.
Yes.
They're more and more reasonable as you
Well, and I'm
letting
her know that they listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
That I do have some I don't want to use the word power here, but that's what it is. I do have some power here. I do have some agency here. I do have some and the reflecting part is going, I know, I've just felt it.
How's it like that?
It relaxes it a little bit. It feels, it trusts. It's not 100%, but not nearly 100%. But what it does know it knows for sure that my intentions are never to hurt those children. It knows that.
Yeah. So how would it feel now about just letting you speak with them?
I just have to say that sadness has arrived again.
Okay. You want to address that? Welcome the sadness.
The main quality of sadness is its ability to overwhelm me, instantly.
Okay. Okay.
Which it's busy doing right now.
Okay. So you can just turn your attention towards it.
Oh, Jesus.
Sadness has come on strong.
It always does.
Okay.
This is how it does it.
Yeah, ask it why. Why does it come on so strong? What's it concerned about?
I don't know. It's just thrashing its arms around.
How do you feel towards it?
Overwhelmed.
Okay. Ask it not to overwhelm you.
Doesn't know how to do anything else.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
Ask it to try. Just one step. Just let it know you'd like to get to know it. I'd like to get to know it.
Where does it come from? Jesus.
I'd love to get to know where it comes from and really understand it.
You know, it doesn't matter what part I'm talking to. It doesn't matter what the interaction is about. It doesn't matter.
I wonder if that's true. I wonder.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, because it feels like it just comes out of nowhere and it's completely unexpected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so just let it know that that's your experience of it. It's that it's just so out of nowhere and overwhelming that you really have trouble understanding it.
Yeah. Everything else disappears, and that's all there is.
Right.
And I don't even know where it's come from.
Yeah. Yeah. Let it know that that's your experience and that you'd like to get to know it, because when you are able to unblend and get to know parts, it's so nice.
It's kind of going, no, it ain't nice. I ain't nice. This is not something you want to know.
Yeah. I do.
Wow. It's pretty strange. There's still some bugger stuck up a tree over there. Well, they're not stuck, but sorry, I think a whole bunch of diversion has arrived.
Yeah. I think we've seen this. The sadness comes in, and then there's other parts that have the light switch thing going on.
Yeah.
And they're able to say, all right.
Yeah. I think honestly, I think it was the fact that you said you were interested in the sadness thing that brought all the diversion ones in, waving their hands, and we're not having any of that. We're not having any of that.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't think they're. Oh, what's going on? I don't know what's going on.
Okay, let them know that I'd like to get to know any of them. So I wasn't playing favorites. I just kind of just where I am right now.
No, it's not. What they're saying is that what it is they're saying the experience of anyone being interested in this sadness is it's like talking to aliens.
It's pretty unusual.
It's unusual, yeah. It's
right.
No one ever says that, ever. Ever.
Yeah. I think that might be part of why it feels like it comes out of nowhere and that you can't understand it, is that they're not seeing yourself do that. So yeah, sadness is not being understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything the sadness would like to let me know?
Why the hell would you care about anything?
Yeah.
Good Lord, how did we end up here? So at the moment, I'm still on the park bench, and there's all these parts, just all, there's, it's a bit chaotic in there.
Yeah.
I can't really figure out what anyone's doing.
Okay. I'll get kind of shaken up by the sadness.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I just want the sadness to know that it's very welcome. I do want to get to know it. I'd love to understand how, why it does what it does. Sounds
It's
very
saying,
important. Mm-hmm.
it's saying it's a bloody long story.
Yeah. Yeah. Would it like to schedule some time to tell me that sometime?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, maybe. I don't know.
I'd love
It
that.
doesn't. It doesn't even know what that will involve. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah. It means um, making a space that it feels safe to share, which I can take responsibility for. But of course, it would have as much input as it wants on that. And then it would mean me listening, and kind of like we were able to use timers in this conversation earlier, we could set some time apart for it.
But it's just going,
And
why?
yeah, yeah, because I believe it's valuable. And I believe that it's not very well understood and it hasn't felt welcome.
Yeah, well, it's agreeing with that.
Yeah. Some other parts might feel really well understood sometimes or welcome. And, we like to get to know them too, but we often do know them already.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they're a bit more straightforward. They're easier to get to know.
yeah, I think that can be, especially when other parts are really reactive. So if other parts are really reactive to the sadness and they get all shook up, or some other light switch part needs to come in, it makes it really hard to ever get to know a certain part when other parts are reacting. So that's what I meant about creating that space and time to kind of let it be itself and share whatever it wants to.
Yeah. It's not it's not too familiar with this sharing concept thing. It doesn't know quite what that means.
Yeah, it might be one of those things that is hard to put in words anyway. We've talked about feelings and understanding versus the words, and sometimes just being present with parts is what is the
Do you
key
know
to
what's just
understanding
happened?
them. Mm-hmm.
You know what's just happened, James?
Hmm.
The make a choice part has climbed down out of the tree and it's
Mm-hmm.
come over and it's saying, this is a choice. You could make this choice. This is a choice.
Yes.
And it's telling me that this is a choice. This
Mm-hmm.
is, and it would be perfectly happy if I chose this choice.
And what choice is that the make a choice part would be happy with?
About you getting to know the sadness.
Yeah. And the make a choice part was saying, sometimes you make a choice and if it doesn't work out, that's no big deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 It's going, yeah. All the other choices are still there.
Right.
Making this choice doesn't wipe out any of the other choices. It's saying to me, you could do this one and see how it goes.
Yeah, see
It's
how it
kind
goes.
of giving its approval.
Mm-hmm.
It made the effort to climb down the tree and come over.
Nice.
To
I
let
wonder
you
if
know
the
that.
reflecting part has anything to say about the idea
Yeah,
of
I
the
was
value
just
of getting
wondering.
to know the sadness.
The protection of these kids is just huge, isn't it? Huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if any of it's related.
It doesn't know for sure, but
Okay.
it's going to protect them if it is.
Great.
Because
it needs to.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
nobody interferes with those kids.
Great. Okay. So we'll make a date then. See what
Yeah.
happens.
Oh, scared part just jumped in.
Scare part's welcome. So we'll have time to think about it. And if the sad part has anything that it wants to pre-plan or has any requests of me around that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking at you with skepticism again and going, who the fuck are you? I think it might need
Yeah. What does it need from me?
okay, I get these things and I don't know. They seem a bit funny, but it needs you to pass the tests. It's going to set some tests.
Okay. Great. Great. Okay. Does it know what those are, or does it want?
Not specifically.
Okay.
It can't articulate them, but the tests will be the feelings that happen. If the feelings that happen are what are they? if the feelings that happen are calm, safe kind of feelings, then that's, that's good. If the feelings are sirens and red flags and alarm bells, then
we don't do it.
Then it's gone. Yeah, we're gone. Yeah.
Great. I like that. Yeah, me too. My parts have the same rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that matters, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We could think more about how to make sure that we're looking out for that. And this part can make any requests of me, can set up any conditions it wants. You know, at least I'm open to hearing whatever comes up.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the sum up? Where have we got to? We started off with balls of yarn.
We started off with balls of yarn. We met the reflecting part, and we met the make choices now part. Make choices now is concerned about wasting time, being irresponsible, and we talked a little about where that comes from culturally or in the family.
Right.
I also told it that I would come back to it, that we would. The reflecting part has children and
yes,
is in charge of protecting them.
Yeah.
Keeping them safe.
Yeah.
And it's concerned about impulsivity, endangering them.
Impulsivity again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there's sadness and
which arrives out of the blue. Yes.
Which seems to arrive out of the blue.
Yeah.
In which I would like to get to know better. And we can put that on the calendar.
It's quite a story, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know where to find me if any of these parts have any requests or anything to add in the meantime.
Yeah. So, there's this thing, the thing that I do, or the thing that happens, which is my forgetting about what happens in a session.
Mm-hmm.
And I think last time we talked about you sending me the
yes. Mm-hmm.
Can we still do that? Because I really am worried that this is just going to disappear, and it feels kind of important.
I think it's really important. It won't disappear from me, and I will send you the call.
Yeah, that'd be super. Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh. That was kind of wild.
Yeah. Thank you for those parts, for showing up and letting us get to know them.
Yeah, I reckon.
The reflecting part, want to let you send the kids off with any gifts?
Say that again.
Does the reflecting part want to let you give a gift to any of the kids?
I've used some of those scraps of yarn and I've crocheted them each a butterfly.
Yeah.
They really like the butterflies.
Nice.
They're very cute. Crocheted butterflies are really cute. So, yeah. They're smiling. Even the teenager quite likes the, like she's rolling her eyes and going, oh, for God's sake, a crocheted butterfly? Are you kidding me? All right, then I'll take it.
All right, I'll take it.
And I know secretly she likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's good.
Great. Okay. Well, if we don't have anything else on the calendar, I'll make sure to send you a note about that.
Yeah, I don't think we do have anything else.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll be in touch about that. Thank you.
I really
Lovely
appreciate
talking with you. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Really?
It's really nice.
Okay. I have to just believe that, don't I?
Yeah.
You're saying it, so I have to believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not because of all the ad money I'm making.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Thank you.
Off to have a sensible dinner?
Well, it's lunchtime for me.
I was saying I am.
Oh, you are. A sensible dinner. What does a sensible dinner mean?
I'm back to just a well-balanced diet. It's going real well.
Good.
All right.
Oh, I'm so pleased to hear that.
Yep.
My son-in-law says to me all the time, just eat the rainbow. He says, eat the rainbow.
Yeah.
And I think there's some truth in that.
Yeah.
Good. I'm pleased to hear that.
Okay.
All right, James. Thank you so much. Enjoy your dinner. Yes, same to you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.